You are listening to Julia's Trucking Cafe News Hour. And welcome to Julia's Trucking Cafe Trucking News Hour. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that you're here and that you want to listen to the trucking news. As always, I have lots of news to get to, so let's get right to it. In our top story, a trucker is trapped in a burning rig that's scooped up by a fellow driver who likely saved his life. We'll be talking about that later on in the program here in a little bit. But first, back on September 8th, a semi-truck travel ban was applied in multiple Utah counties. Authorities in Utah were forbidding all semi-truck travel in 3 counties due to high winds at that time. Central Standard Time on Tuesday morning, September 8th, the Utah Highway Patrol issued an alert that semi-truck travel is banned until further notice in Box Elder County, Davis County, and Weber County. It is not clear how long the truck and travel restriction will remain in place. There have been reports of multiple trucks blown over on the road. That was when that Dolce was going through. And our next story, Wyoming roadways shut down for 10 inches of snow already in September. Wyoming transportation officials are warning drivers to seek alternate routes after a heavy and very early snowstorm shut down roadways. On the morning of Tuesday, September 8th, the Wyoming Department of Transportation announced that Wyoming 251 and 258 are closed after 10 inches of snow fell in the Casper area. Several stretches of Interstate 80 were also closed due to winter-like weather, even though fall doesn't start until September 22nd. It's gonna be a bad winter if it's snowing already. Wyoming DOT says that due to the snow, travel on all other area highways is not advisable, and due to snow and slick road conditions. The snow isn't the only severe weather snarling travel on that Tuesday morning. High winds have also blown over several trucks and resulted in restricted travel, as I just reported. And next up is starts Treats for Truckers, an unofficial charity aimed at helping drivers through the pandemic. 2 are passing out care packages at truck stops and are looking for donations to help them continue the project. Being a truck driver is tough enough without throwing a global virus into the mix. Store and restaurant shutdowns have made getting food over the road even trickier for the truck drivers of America. So Diane and Bill McCarthy of Hernando County, Florida, have stepped in to do their part and are asking their community to do the same. Bill retired from trucking just before the virus swept the nation, so the McCarthys know all about the trucking life, and they want to do what they can for essential workers that keep on trucking through these times. Enter Treats for Truckers. Diane says, my husband and I have started a charity, not officially registered, for our over-the-road truck drivers. I was watching an episode of Returning the Favor on social media. A lady in Idaho started making treat bags for the drivers in her area. What an awesome idea, so why not start one here? I reached out to her and she's given me some suggestions on where we need to start. So far, we received a few monetary donations. These donations have purchased produce bags that we fill with items such as coffee, snacks, popcorn, and protein bars. With that in mind, the McCarthy started a donation page on social media with a goal to distribute the care packages twice a month. Quote, truck drivers are still finding it hard to get food and snacks during the virus, with many places closed or the dining areas not open. Can't really do a drive-through with a semi, reads the social media page. If anyone is interested in helping deliver package, donate items or money, please private message me. I will be taking little bags of snacks and drinks to the local truck stops. I will start once a month, but would like to do this weekly. I would also love it if some children would write little notes to put in the bags as well. Since creating the page, Diane and Bill were able to distribute their first round of care packages on Friday, August 22nd at the Flying J on Highway 54. My husband and Bill, were able to make our first round of deliveries Saturday afternoon in the pouring down rain, but it was amazing, interesting, and fun, Diane said to the local paper. We met people from all over. We met truckers that were by themselves. We met team truckers and even ones with families. It felt really good to give to those who I feel are family. It put Bill and I back into a place close enough to feel we were on the road again. We definitely miss being out seeing our beautiful country, she added. The McCarthys hope to continue handing out bags to the truckers that work so hard to keep us all supplied with the things we need, even in the face of something as serious as this virus. She says, Bill and I will continue to hand out bags to wherever we can. I carry some around in my car. That way, if the opportunity arises, I have something available to hand out, she explained. I cannot thank these men and women enough for continuing this job, being on the road for weeks on end to make sure that we have supplies we need, things that people don't even consider, how to get food into the grocery store and then into their home. Without truck drivers, this would not be the case. Anyone interested in supporting the cause can visit their social media donation page at Treats for Truckers on Facebook.com. Excuse me. And in this next story, a chassis brake fail blamed for a crash that's caught on dash cam. A trucker says that sudden brake failure was to blame for a crash caught on dash cam. In the dash cam clip, you'll see that the person attempted an evasive maneuver to avoid colliding with the trailer in front of him. But with another truck traveling in the lane next to him, he was unable to avoid the crash. And you can check out this dash cam clip at the bottom of this article. And in the next story, a driver cited for refusal to wear a mask checked his license at an official. A truck driver was cited last week after refusing to wear a mask and becoming disorderly with an official. The incident happened on Monday afternoon, August 31st, at the San Juan Port of Entry in New Mexico. According to the local paper, 46-year-old truck driver Kristen LeMay declined to wear a face covering while interacting with port personnel. May then reportedly became disorderly and continued refusing a mask before throwing his driver's license at a port inspector. He was cited for violating the state's Public Health Act but did not sign the citation. He has since been issued a criminal summons to appear in court on September 30th to make a plea on the charge. If May fails to appear, a warrant for his arrest will be issued. Do you believe this? For not wearing a mask. They're going to throw his ass in jail. This is how bad this is getting. Any violation of the state's Public Health Act is a misdemeanor, punishable by a $100 fine and up to 6 months in jail. You know? Unbelievable. There goes our rights right out the window. This is what you want. I'm getting a little bit political. This is what you want in office. Yeah, okay. But anyway. And construction waste catches fire in transit, forcing driver to dump the burning materials. A driver dumped his load along a highway in Canada after materials caught on fire in transit. This incident happened on September 8th around 1 o'clock in Ottawa, Canada. According to the local paper, the dump truck driver was hauling construction waste eastbound on Highway 417 when they noticed the load had caught fire. Jumping into action, the driver quickly pulled over and dumped the burning materials, preventing the rest of the truck from catching fire and avoiding serious injury. Excuse me. First responders and heavy equipment were called in to spread out the debris in order to more fully extinguish the flames. The material has since been successfully cleared from the roadway and no injuries were reported. And up next, a reefer carrier makes a major move to expand fleet with 150 new 389 Pride and Class Peterbilts ordered. An Oklahoma-based refrigerated carrier just announced that they will make big moves to expand their fleet over the next 15 months. Hurricane Express announced that they have placed an order for 150 new 389 Pride and Class model Peterbilts, 10 trucks per month for the next 15 months. The announcement went viral on Facebook, gathering more than 8,000 likes as well as hundreds of comments and shares in just a few days. Goody for them. And explosives found in a stolen trailer after a suspect flees the shootout with police. Officials are searching for a man accused of stealing a truck, possessing explosives, and shooting at police in Georgia earlier in the week. First week of September. The incident began on Monday, September 7 in Dalton, Georgia. According to local news, police spotted 29-year-old Dalton Potter, already a wanted fugitive in Texas, driving a stolen semi along Interstate 75. Whitfield County Deputy Daryl Hackney pulled the stolen rig over and was soon shot at by Potter, who managed to hit his mark several times. Luckily, Hackney was wearing a bulletproof vest at the time and did not suffer any serious injuries. Hackney then returned fire along with another officer, but Potter was able to escape southbound down I-75 in the stolen semi. Following the shootout, Potter apparently wrecked the truck near the Gordon-Whitfield County line and abandoned it, disappearing into the nearby woods. The following Wednesday, officials were able to execute a search warrant on the stolen semi and discovered explosives, which will soon be destroyed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation bomb disposal unit. As of 11 a.m. on September 9th, Potter is still missing, and he is on the run and may be a serious threat to the public, they say. The second suspect in the situation, 47-year-old Jonathan Hosmer, is already in custody after he was seen on a home surveillance system in a subdivision close to where the stolen truck was wrecked. And in this story, a video shows deadly 9-vehicle pileup on I-5 in Sacramento. A car's rear dash cam captured a fatal multi-vehicle crash that occurred on a California interstate. The crash occurred around 5:40 p.m. on Saturday the 8th on southbound I-5 at Florian Road in Sacramento. Crash ultimately involved 9 vehicles, one of which was a semi-truck hauling a load of plywood. According to California Highway Patrol, a motorist in his 30s was pronounced dead at the scene, while 3 others were transported to the hospital. The truck driver was not injured. CHP says that the crash is under investigation and police are using dash cam videos submitted in their investigation. And 7 senators fight back on a plan to hike trucker insurance requirements to $2 million. A group of senators are asking for changes to a current highway bill that would remove a massive increase in minimum insurance requirements for truckers. On September 8th, Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines and 6 others penned a letter to the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation asking for the removal of controversial provision to increase commercial vehicle minimum insurance liability requirements from $750,000 to $2 million. The provision was introduced by Illinois Representative Chuy Garcia, who said that the insurance hike is meant to benefit the families of crash victims. From the letter, I quote, "An increased insurance requirements is both unnecessary and impractical, with the result having little to do with improving highway safety. Furthermore, the addition of these requirements would negatively impact a wide range of industries that are crucial to our states and the nation. Increasing minimum liability coverage would impact any business that transports property, which would be felt by the very industries that have been deemed essential during this period of crisis." A coalition composed of truckers, farmers, and manufacturers recently sent a letter to the committee warning of the economic impact that would come as a result of an increase in insurance rates. As you push for legislation designed to support economic recovery and growth, it is imperative that you do not add policies that would lead to even more lost American jobs. Daines also pointed to a 2014 FMCSA Commission study that found that current commercial vehicle insurance minimum adequately covered damages in 99.94% of crashes. The insurance increase has come under fire from members of the trucking industry who say that the cost would force small or struggling trucking companies out of business. Other senators who signed this same letter included Indiana's Mike Braun, Tennessee's Marsha Blackburn, North Dakota's Kevin Kramer, Arizona Martha McSally, Georgia's David Perdue, and Nebraska's Deb Fisher. And this next story, a trucker is reportedly assaulted with a knife during a robbery attempt in Ohio. Police are investigating A truck driver was assaulted on an Ohio interstate. The attack occurred on September 9th on Interstate 76 in Wadsworth, Ohio. So far, the Ohio State Highway Patrol have released few details about the attack, but the initial report indicates that the truck driver was stabbed by two male suspects during an apparent robbery attempt. The truck driver survived the attack and was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. After the attack, the suspects fled the scene in a dark-colored pickup truck. Troopers say that the investigation is still unfolding as of Thursday morning, and they have not released information about the rest of any suspects. However, a social media post from the Wadsworth Police Department indicates that there are currently no suspects at large. So they might have caught the guys. And next, a trucker perished after a Utah windstorm caused a trailer door to slam into him. A truck driver lost his life to high winds in Utah while he was delivering items to a location in South Salt Lake on Tuesday. That was September 8th. The fatal accident occurred around 8:30 on Tuesday, September 8th, at Industrial Ejection and Turbo Service in South Salt Lake City, Utah. 61-year-old truck driver Donald Hardy had just unloaded at the location when high winds caught the door of his trailer as he was standing near it, causing it to strike him, according to the local news outlet. After he was hit by the door, Hardy fell, striking his head on the ground. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead from head trauma. It must have really smacked him hard for him to get pushed to the ground like that. Hardy's wife witnessed the fatal accident. She said he hit the ground so hard the hearing aid in his right ear broke. The ear that never touched the ground, the hearing aid is shattered. He's retired military, Navy. He wishes were to be cremated and he wanted to be sprinkled in the ocean. Alyssa Joy Hardy told police that she and her husband had sold all of their possessions and were working to earn a living over the road. While the windstorm caused at least 45 trucks to blow over in Utah, like I reported, Hardy was the state's only wind-related fatality. Several Utah counties enacted truck travel bans due to the wind speeds of more than 100 miles an hour. Alyssa Joy Hardy said that Utah DOT should have closed the roads. Had they closed down the highway, would have stayed at the truck stop, we wouldn't have delivered. The accident wouldn't have ever happened. Donald would still be alive. So she's blaming Utah DOT for not closing down the highway sooner. Well, if you're watching the weather, and I'm sorry that he passed away. I'm sorry that he was trying to do his job. I get this. But watch the weather. And if them winds are more than 50 miles an hour, you park your butt still. That you're not going out there. They should have stayed in the truck stop. Don't blame it on the state of Utah because your husband died. He should have stayed put with those kind of winds. But anyway, next story. Truck driver following a routing app ends up on ATV road, like a logging road. Oregon State Police are warning drivers not to trust map routing apps to avoid wildfire-related road closures, and they pointed to one truck driver's bad day as an example of what could go wrong. Back in August, Oregon State Police said that a truck driver relying on a map app ran into trouble and became stuck on the ATV road. Yeah, that's what you get for trusted Google Maps. There again, I keep saying, buy yourself a damn GPS, but nope. So, don't feel sorry for you. And now let's take a short break. News. Troopers say the trucker fabricated a story about interstate robbery and stabbing. The story that I just talked about a couple of minutes ago. Ohio State Patrol says that its truck driver withdrew his statement after earlier claims that he was robbed and stabbed the previous night. Unnamed truck driver initially said that the attack happened on I-76 in Wadsworth, Ohio, around 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. Truck driver said that he pulled over after a pickup flashed its headlights and that one suspect threatened him with a gun while the other stabbed him during a robbery attempt from fleeing the scene. Before fleeing the scene, Truck driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Trooper said that while the truck driver was questioned in the hospital, several inconsistencies popped up in his story. Eventually, the truck driver withdrew his statement, according to state police, who later said in a news release that his story was fabricated. It wasn't clear what motivated the truck driver to fabricate his accounts of the events, and this incident still remains under investigation. And next.
Now let's take this episode of Julia's Trucker Cafe is brought to you by My Patriot Supply. As truck drivers, we all know what it's like to be at a shipper's or receiver's and have to wait to be loaded for hours on end. Am I right? Especially produce coolers and paper mills. That's why you need to be prepared with extra food in your truck, especially with the bad weather coming in, like it is over here in Kansas. Up in the Dakotas and Minnesota, 90 was shut down, Interstate 94 was shut down, along with 29. What are you going to do if there's no food and a truck stop was without power? That's why you need to stay prepared with My Patriot Supply. Now it's not what you're thinking. My Patriot Supply is delicious emergency food. They have food kits that are good up to 25 years. They come in a slimline tote that you can easily store in your food pantry or under your bunk. I can speak from experience. After living through Hurricane Katrina, we were without power for 10 days, me, my mother, and son, and I. If it weren't for the MREs that were flown into us, we wouldn't have any food. There was 4 60-foot pine trees that broke in half during that storm and crossed my driveway and landlocked me in. That's when My Patriot Supply would have come in handy. If I knew then what I know now about My Patriot Supply, I definitely have some of this food stockpiled in my pantry. Now, for a limited time, you could get a 1-week supply of food in a handy and neat looking ammo can, like you see here, for just $39. Look at all that food you get. It's a week's worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinners, just for $39. How do you get it? Where do you go, do you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Just go to my website at juliastruckercafe.com, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, scroll down and click on any of the images to find out more information and get yours today. They even offer gluten-free food for under $100. Winter weather is here. What would you do if the interstate was shut down, just like I was talking about? You need to get My Patriot Supply and get it today. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me.
And next up is a trucker is trapped in a burning rig, scooped up by a fellow driver who likely saved his life. A truck driver's life was saved by a driver involved in the same multi-vehicle accident that set the rig on fire, police say. The accident happened on Sunday, August 30th at Walcott, Iowa, on Interstate 80 eastbound. According to police, a 5-vehicle crash involving a semi-truck caused the rig to catch fire, trapping the truck driver inside until a fellow driver decided to take the rescue into his own hands. He approached the vehicle, yelled out to see if I was going to get a response because, to be perfectly honest, from what I was seeing, I didn't think he would be alive, said trucker Robert Smith, who was also involved in the accident that sparked the fire. He responded immediately. I could hear his voice, and I don't remember his exact words, and it isn't clear that he couldn't get out of the truck at the time. Smith says he first tried to kick the window in, but soon had to resort to bashing it open with a metal rod. I asked the driver if he could move. He said he could, and I said, basically, you need to get out now or you're going to die, and he came crawling out the window. I scooped him off the ground and away from the truck we went. The local news reports that the unnamed truck driver was transported to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No updates on his condition or identity were released. After the fiery crash, Smith's daughter uploaded footage of her father's rescue efforts to social media, where it quickly gained traction and has since garnered more than 150,000 views. It was a really cool video. I thought Dad looked pretty heroic in it. He's pretty humble about it, said the daughter. We weren't surprised when we heard Dad had pulled him out of the vehicle just because of his background. We knew that he's always been the one to maintain a cool, calm, collected presence while the rest of us were in total freak-out mode. He was definitely the right person in the right place at the right time, she added. Smith, now a truck driver, previously spent decades in law enforcement, making him uniquely suited to participate in a rescue like this. A bunch of people have called me a hero, and I guess there's heroes out there, but I don't necessarily feel it. I feel like I did what needed to be done, and I don't know if that makes me a hero, said Robert. Charged after police make a string of atrocious equipment documentation discoveries. Oh, let's see, like zip ties and vice grips holding stuff together on brake chambers. Yeah, that's brilliant. Police say a driver has been charged after officers noticed multiple equipment and documentation issues during a local roadside safety initiative. This incident occurred on Tuesday, September 8th around 10:30 a.m. in Ontario, Canada. According to police reports, halted officers pulled over a decommissioned fire tanker truck used to haul water near John William Public School. Upon inspecting the vehicle, officers noticed clamps and zip ties and an exhaust leak, and even holes in the floorboards, along with licensing, insurance, and documentation issues. A decommissioned former fire tanker truck used to haul water was stopped and found to have inoperative brakes and a brake line clamped off due to previous leaking. Holes in the floor of the truck cab were also located along with an exhaust leak, which could pose a serious safety risk to the driver. Yesterday's enforcement serves as a reminder that much work remains to be done to ensure commercial motor vehicle owners and drivers do their part to ensure their vehicles are safe, the sergeant said. Drivers now facing charges including operating a commercial truck without a commercial driver's license and various other document and insurance issues. Yeah, you can't get away with much of nothing anymore. And in our next article, truckers share haunting photos of the Oregon fires. This week, several fires broke out in Oregon. Oregon has 37 active fires, and the fires have destroyed nearly 500,000 acres. This was reported on September 10th. On Tuesday, the fires forced the Oregon Department of Transportation to close down I-5 just north of the California-Oregon border for the Glendower fire as it burned near Ashland. The fire caused massive amounts of smoke to blanket the area. Many truck drivers reportedly left their vehicles parked on I-5 and fled. Several truck drivers shared pictures of the Oregon fires. Picture was taken near Woodbury, Oregon, and it just looks like, it's orange and all cloud cover. The pictures don't really do this justice. It's actually pitch black from all the smoke. You could see ash falling from the sky like it's snow. Got to Albany, got out of the truck to load, and the parking lot was covered in ash. So, yeah, that's not fun whatsoever. And a truck driver is accused of severely beating a man who booted his semi in a Walmart parking lot. A truck driver is facing felony charges following a parking dispute at a Walmart location in Kansas last month. 38-year-old Minnesota-based driver Mustafa Igal has been charged with aggravated battery and great bodily harm. According to a report from the local news outlet. The charges stem from an August 24 parking dispute at a Walmart location in Gardner, Kansas. According to reports, police responded to a call at the Walmart and found a bleeding tow truck driver lying in the parking lot. Police later learned from witnesses that the tow truck driver had been called to the scene because Igal parked in a Walmart lot in spite of the location's no truck parking policy. The tow truck driver booted Igal's semi. After he was booted, police say that Igal attempted to drive off and struck the victim's tow truck. After that crash, Igal reportedly exited his truck and beat the tow truck driver with a metal bar. Witnesses said that Igal tried to flee, but that onlookers convinced him to stay on the scene and render aid to the victim. Tow truck driver suffered serious injuries, including broken facial bones and bruise on his brain. After Igal was arrested and booked into jail, he was released on a $25,000 bond. He is scheduled to appear in court on October 6th. He ain't going to appear. This is not the first time a confrontation involving an employee applying boots to semi-trucks has taken a violent turn. And we know about the Walmart location in Georgia and Kentucky. And the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration extends the hours of service waiver for truckers providing relief to states ravaged by wildfires. On Thursday, September 10th, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration extended a previous regional emergency declaration to provide regulatory relief for truck drivers responding to the wildfires on the West Coast. The FMCSA extended a regional emergency declaration issued on August 18th through the 19th due to wildfire activity in the states of Oregon, Washington, and California. Per the extension, motor carriers and drivers providing direct assistance to the wildfire emergency in the affected states are granted emergency relief from Parts 390 through 399 of Title 49 Code, or CFR, Code of Federal Regs. Direct assistance includes the transportation of supplies, goods, equipment, fuel, and transporting persons into and from the affected states. So they say. The waiver does not exempt truckers from controlled substance and alcohol testing requirements, CDL requirements, insurance, hazardous material regs, applicable size and weight permits. And dash cam footage reveals the truth after a merging car files a faulty insurance claim to blame a semi. A woman filed an insurance claim within an hour of crashing into a semi, stating she wasn't at fault after merging in front of the driver on a busy road in Sydney, Australia. Luckily, dash cam footage of the incident proves the driver was in the wrong. The sedan can clearly be seen turning straight into the semi-truck, causing the accident. The video evidence was posted to Ross Transport's social media page on August 25th. This is what truck drivers are dealing with on a daily basis, says Ross Transport manager. The car driver blamed their driver for causation of the accident, and we received a phone call from their insurance company within 1 hour of the accident requesting a higher car and admitting our driver at fault. Thank goodness for our cameras for evidence and proof for our drivers. What this car driver doesn't realize is how lucky she is to be alive, making a silly decision like this. She was lucky there was no other cars on the right-hand side, and she did not end up between the dog trailer and the truck. Footage from dash cam can be seen at the bottom of this article that'll be in the show notes. And semi-truck thieves accidentally leave a GoPro recording of their crime as evidence. Brilliant, kids. Authorities are searching for several suspects after footage of a semi-truck theft was recovered in Cleveland, Ohio. On July 28th, a semi-truck with a trailer was stolen from JP Logistics, located at the 3700 block of Valley Road. After the semi was recovered, the victim's GoPro camera was discovered to still be inside the vehicle. They forgot their camera. Camera and captured video evidence of the suspect as they broke into the trailer, rummaged through the driver's belongings, and then drove the trailer to a nearby parking lot. Pictures of the suspect were posted in the 2nd District Community Relations social media page. Authorities are encouraging anyone who recognizes either one of these suspects in the photos to contact Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. That's 216-252-7463. And in other news, a pedestrian's death after being struck by a semi now being investigated as an intentional act. The death of a pedestrian who was hit by a passing semi in Topeka, Kansas, is now being investigated as a suicide, according to the Kansas Highway Patrol. The accident occurred around 10 a.m. on September 3rd in eastbound I-70, immediately west of Southwest Valencia Road exit in western Shawnee County. According to the initial report, the pedestrian was hit by the semi while on the interstate. Immediately after the incident, a passenger car and a semi pulled over and stopped on the right eastbound shoulder of I-70 near where the pedestrian had been hit. The car was later removed from the scene by a tow truck. Emergency crews responded to the scene and the victim was taken by American Medical Response Ambulance to Topeka. Individual was later pronounced dead. No other injuries were reported. A spokesman for the Kansas Highway Patrol said Wednesday that the pedestrian was struck in what appears to have been an intentional act. This case remains under investigation. And a man is charged with murder in this story after allegedly shooting one trucker and beating the heck out of another. Nevada police say that a man is facing multiple charges, including murder, after reportedly attacking two truck drivers. Matthew Strain, 29, has been charged with battery with a deadly weapon, attempted robbery with a deadly weapon, and open murder, according to Lyon County Sheriff's Office. Strain's driver's license photo is shown here. The incidents that led to Strain's arrest began around 8:30 on Thursday, September 10th in Smith Valley, Nevada. Police began receiving 911 calls about a highway shooter in Smith Valley area. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Nevada Highway Patrol, responded. Following an investigation, police determined that Strain had been involved in a single vehicle crash on State Route 338 just south of Canal Road. He fled the crash scene on foot, heading north on State Route 338. Strain was eventually able to flag down a northbound semi-truck driven by Zachary Sanchez, 36. Police say that at some point Sanchez exited his truck and was shot by Strain. A semi-truck driver traveling south on State Road 338 came upon the scene. Police say Strain attacked and battered the unidentified truck driver in an attempt to steal his truck. The truck driver was able to escape and fled the scene. When officers arrived, Strain was attempting to hide. He was arrested without further incident. Sanchez was pronounced dead at the scene. The second truck driver was treated for injuries and released. Strain is currently being held in Lyon County Jail on a no-bail hold. And Border Patrol warns truckers in this article they could lose their CDL for life under a Texas Hold'em initiative. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol says they're cracking down on truckers who smuggle humans or drugs with stiff penalties. The Border Patrol said that they are working with the Texas Department of Public Safety to enforce the Texas Hold'em Act initiative as a number of human and drug smuggling attempts continue to rise. Under the Texas Hold'em initiative, a CDL holder who is convicted of alien or narcotic smuggling can be disqualified from holding a CDL for the rest of their lives. Other penalties can include prison, a $250,000 fine, or even the death penalty. Alien smuggling is a federal crime. Plain and simple. Any person in their right mind knows that much. Stolen semi-truck serves as a would-be getaway vehicle for barefoot escaped convict bank robber. A man is back in custody after breaking out of jail, robbing a bank, and using a stolen semi-truck as a getaway vehicle. John Scott Glasgow escaped from Lamar County Jail in Alabama on September 9th. Barefooting on the run, Glasgow apparently went home, packed a bag, put on some shoes, and headed east on Highway 82. The next day, at around 8 in the morning, police received a call from a concerned citizen describing a man who looked out of the ordinary, leaving the bank of Kilmichael. This was Glasgow. The way this guy was dressed, it's pretty hot this time of year, and he was wearing a big sweatshirt and a hat, so he looked out of the ordinary for this time of the year. According to the local news, Glasgow had just robbed the bank of $2,000, threatening the bank teller with a weapon under his shirt and slipping them a note stating, "This is a robbery, put all the money in the bag, no tricks, no one will get hurt." However, during the exchange of money, one of the bank tellers was able to put a red dye pack in the money. When the suspect exited the business, the citizen saw the dye pack go off in the parking lot. She immediately called 911. After the robbery, Glasgow attempted to flee the scene in a stolen semi, parked and to hit the road, but a beer truck making the delivery blocked his exit. Glasgow was soon arrested by police just 200 yards from the bank he had just robbed. We located a semi-truck, and it's been reported stolen out of Alabama. He had a suitcase packed, a cooler with food and drinks in it. If it hadn't been for the caller, he would have well on his way to another state or something like that. Glasgow is now being charged with escape in Lamar County, Alabama, and armed robbery in Winona, Mississippi. They're going to come over here and they're going to speak with him. That's when we'll begin going through the extradition process and all that stuff, said Herod. Glasgow's bond is currently set at $500,000. And truckers to pay more after a hefty toll hike goes into effect in New Jersey this coming weekend. Starting on Sunday, it started this last Sunday, September 13th, you can expect to shell out quite a bit more money on major New Jersey roadways as a major toll increase goes into effect. In May 2020, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority unanimously approved a plan to increase tolls on two major roadways for both passenger and commercial vehicle drivers starting Sunday, September 13th. Tolls will increase by 36% on the New Jersey Turnpike. Truckers who are currently paying $56.85 to travel the length of the Turnpike will pay $77.30 for the same trip starting in September. Tolls will also go up 27% on the Garden State Parkway. Two toll increases are intended to fund a $24 billion plan to implement cashless tolling technology, widen portions of the New Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway, and build a bridge between New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Also, September 13th, a 37% toll increase will go into effect on Atlantic City Expressway, intended to generate $500 million for various projects. Critics of the toll hike say that authorities used cover of virus back in May to push through the increases with little input from the public. Bureaucrats who control our highways are quietly fast-tracking massive toll hikes on New Jersey drivers when nobody is looking. While our daily commutes may look different today, these toll increases will slam drivers with higher costs as our state reopens, making New Jersey an even more expensive place to live, work, and raise a family. And people will start fleeing out of there like crazy in the droves. And finally, Billboards on I35 warn drivers approaching Austin to enter at your own risk. A large organization representing Texas police officers have erected billboards warning drivers of possible dangers they face when they enter the city of Austin. The billboards were put in place along I-35 entering Austin by the Texas Municipal Police Association. The billboards are a response to the Austin City Council's vote to cut funding to the Austin Police Department by $150 million and to redirect those funds to social services and other departments. The billboards read, "Warning, Austin Police defunded, enter at your own risk." A second version of the billboard also reads, "Limited support the next 20 miles." The billboards also feature the hashtag #BackTheBlue. TMPA said, as the largest police association in Texas, it is our duty and responsibility to stand up for the brave men and women of the Austin PD, as well as the other law enforcement agencies with jurisdiction within the city limits, which will have less of Austin PD's resources to depend on, and to raise public awareness of the dangers of defunding not just Austin, but any city across the U.S., end quote. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeted an apparent show of support for the move to erect the billboards.
I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who tune in to listen to me each week here on the cafe. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe using the link below, or on CloudHub, please subscribe at the top of the page. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. As I said, please, if you wouldn't mind, stop in if you're on Facebook and give us a like on Facebook. Also join our discussion group at Julia's Trucking Cafe Regulars. And if you wouldn't mind, subscribing to our newsletter at juliastruckingcafe.com/newsletter. So thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time. You have been listening to Julia's Truckin' Cafe Truckin' News Hour. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Take care. Have a blessed day.